The Beomeosa Temple in Busan, South Korea. I'm Chris. This is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. I do a lot of hotel reviews, and this one is going to be an interesting review. This is all about staying in this temple. Not a hotel, but actually with this temple stay program in Busan in South Korea, you can come as the monks do, participate in the monk experience, and stay in a temple. So in this video, I'll be telling you everything you need to know if you're considering the temple stay here at the Golden Fish Temple. So now you may be wondering, why, Chris, are you not wearing your traditional yellow shirt? Where is it? Well, that's part of the whole experience at this temple. You really stay here kind of like the monks stay here. And so one of the first things they do is actually give you these monk outfits to wear. Though they're actually not quite like the monks, because you can see right down there, there's one of the monks wearing typical gray. But all the people for the temple stay wear one of these fancy pajamas. So to get up to the temple stay building, it's a bit of a walk. It's about 15 minutes up a hill, so pack light if you're coming here. This is the main entrance after you've walked up this 15-minute hill. But one of the great things about the Beomeosa Temple, this one, is it's one of the most authentic temple stays in Korea. What does that mean? That means they do everything here for you as a tourist like the monks would do, meaning the bathrooms are in a separate building and they're outside. Meaning that the way you eat the food is the way they eat the food. The way you wash the dishes is the way they wash the dishes. So here it's not like a half experience. You're gonna get the full Buddhist experience, maybe whether you like it or not, but that's part of the experience. After changing into our attire, we got a briefing on the rules of the temple, how to bow, and a discussion about the ceremonies. And after the rules, we're now gonna take a tour of the temple. I'll show you around.
지쳐 보이는 너 왜 이렇게 오늘따라 난 널 자꾸 신경 쓰는 걸까 매일 너의 표정이 그런 걸 자꾸 맘에 걸리는 걸 웃는 너를 보고 싶은 걸 오늘 너무 조용한 너 왜 이렇게 오늘따라 난 너 내게 말 걸어주기를 바래
Okay, so this is the main Dharma hall. It's called the Great Hero Hall. So the one you see at the center is the main Buddha, the Shakyamuni Buddha, the actual person that existed 2,500 years ago. The one on the left is the Buddha of the past. The one on the right is the Buddha of the future. So in Buddhist cosmology, we believe in multiple universes. We believe that there's more than just this one universe. And there are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, basically an infinite number throughout all the universes.
After that tour of the temple, we worked up an appetite. It was time for dinner. We assembled in the dining hall, and our monk told us all the rules for dining, and there are lots of them. So now that we've washed the bowls, the rice comes around. It all just gets passed around, basically on the floor. We take this and we put as much as we want in our rice bowl. I like a lot of rice. I'm hungry. I probably want one more scoop.
Just make sure you don't eat this.
And then I pass it on. And I put it up to my forehead to say thank you. And now we have another item. Okay, next we have the soup. This one passed around on the floor as well. It goes in the next biggest bowl.
But you can kind of cheat and go and put the side dishes here. Because it's one less bowl to clean.
So the side dishes, there's 5 of them. Well, 4 of them plus a cleaning supply. We take this and we wheel it over. And we can put the side dishes in either the broth bowl or the little bowl. And this looks like meat, but it isn't. I think the monk just said I'm taking too long, but I'm going as fast as I can.
So she's saying you have to finish eating by at least 6:10.
You said we have to take a yellow one?
Yes, one. At least one.
And where do we put the yellow one?
Just somewhere you don't eat.
Somewhere we don't eat. Like here? Here. Top left. And once it's served, it looks like this. Except my yellow thing is in the wrong place. So the monk just told us no talking while we're eating, so I guess I won't be announcing how this tastes. I'll talk to you afterwards. So we used the radish to clean the bowls with the water that we got earlier. When one bowl is clean, we pour in the next one, clean that bowl, and continue. And after we washed all the dishes and had one bowl with the dirty water and the radish, it was time to drink that water and eat the radish. So I couldn't really talk about the food while I was eating it, but it was actually pretty tasty for vegetarian food. I mean, not quite as tasty as the temple food we had yesterday, since that was a Michelin-starred temple restaurant, but kimchi was good, the rice was good, the soup was good, though it takes some getting used to the whole put the food in your mouth, put the bowl down, chew, and look out into the room. A little bit awkward. And I also wasn't prepared for the fact that after we washed the dishes, we drank the soup and the liquid after we washed it. And then we got to wash the dishes. So, a little bit of culture shock, but I think that's what this is about, right? After dinner, it was time for us to listen in on the drum performance. I know you can hear it right now, but let's listen in a little closer. That's a pretty big drum. Okay, so we just finished the main worship service chant. It was about 20 minutes. There was a lot of bowing. There was a lot of chanting. I mean, I participated in the bowing, but not really the chanting. It was an interesting experience, I will say. I've always kind of seen these things from outside of the temple, but it was definitely interesting to actually be inside the temple and experience it firsthand. All right, so after the main worship ceremony, we got 30 minutes of break, and now that it's 7:40, it is time for us to do some more bows. There's apparently two magic numbers. It's like 3 and 108, and so I understand we are going to do 108 bows now. And in case you're wondering what 108 bows looks like, it looks like this 108 times. This took 20 minutes. So what's the significance of 108 bows? We just finished 108, and I will tell you, it is so much that I think now we're really going to be tired to sleep after this. And I was really happy when the monk said, this is the last bow. At about 50, I was losing hope. And you can see, I'm about to melt, kind of like the snowman in Frozen. So now that we're done with the 108 bows, it's gotten quite dark outside, but you know, I didn't think I could do 108, but I think part of Buddhism gives you that motivation. It's either that or the monk standing next to you with a really big stick that he's hitting, and I'm worried that if I don't do it, that stick might be yours truly. So after we finished making the beads and we did our 108 bows, it's time to go to sleep. And they basically put out these mattresses on the floor, they give you a blanket, they give you a pillow, and this is where you sleep. Separate rooms for men and women. There's 6 of us men, and so there are 6 beds. You know, they say hard floors are good for backs, so I'm hoping my back will feel just like a little baby back tomorrow. Baby back ribs, maybe. Good morning. It is 5:15 in the morning. We were awoken at 4:30 by the sound of the drums again. That's when the monks start the morning. I got up a little after that because I couldn't sleep after the drums. I took a shower right in that building downstairs. The staff just informed us they've got coffee, no latte-based drinks, but coffee just in the room right next to us. So what I bet you're really wondering is, Chris, how did you sleep in that big room on the floor? Well, now that I've brushed my teeth and combed my hair with my bathroom amenities and my United amenity kit, I will tell you, and I'll actually say, I slept better than I thought I would. Now, I've traveled to Japan quite a bit, so I'm already used to sleeping on the floor. Their one mattress was kind of hard, so we actually doubled them up with 2 mattresses and got 2 pillows to most of us get our heads up a little higher. And actually, I think most of us, at least the guys in the room, I haven't checked with the girls yet, slept pretty reasonably well. And I only had to make that trek to the bathroom once at night. But the good news is, while they turn off the lights in the room, they still do keep the lights on in the bathrooms and outside. It's now 6:05 in the morning. We just finished our meditation program. We were seated out here in the front of the temple. We did some breathing exercises, and we're looking out on the nature. We're supposed to count from 1 to 5 and 5 to 1 while we breathe in and breathe out and not think about anything else. But it's kind of hard when the bird chirps, somebody walks. The YouTubers were all pretty quiet. I think this was the quietest I've seen this group that I was in. But, you know, this will teach you how to meditate if you come. One of the really neat things about this temple stay is experiencing the temple when there's really nobody else here. There is something quite peaceful about sunrise on this temple grounds. For breakfast, we're back in the same spot that we had dinner last night, though we're told that breakfast is a buffet, and hopefully we don't have to wash our own dishes. We're gonna see. Okay, so as we entered into the breakfast hall, they lined us up and we went down and picked up our vegetarian food off the buffet. Hot rice, kimchi, broccoli, bean sprouts. We've got like a fruit salad here, and then this, it looks like pork, but it's not pork, with some homemade sauce. There looks to be a hot bean sprout soup right here, and then our morning tea, not like the British, it's not in a fancy cup that you can put your finger on the side, it's in one of these metal dishes. And breakfast is in quite a big room. Before, we were in those little rooms on the side for our dinner, but I'm assuming they probably serve a lunch in here, because they wouldn't just serve breakfast for 13 people in a big room like this. As you heard me say earlier at dinner, as you eat at a temple, you have to eat everything on your plate. So make sure you clean off all the food. And I was incorrect, we actually do have to wash it. So join me in the washing room, will you? We are in the sink room. This is where we wash the dishes. I've got the dishes in the sink. This entire sink room, there is one very large bottle of soap that we're gonna use to do this. And we've got our scrubbing things, and we put the soap on it, and we scrub it. And we're supposed to, she told us to wash it well, no bubbles. So I might be here for just a little while. I've been joined by a few more people washing. David's been here. That's Sam from Sam and Aubrey channel. When we were done with dinner and we did this and everybody came in here to wash, it was like a big washing party. I've never been to a dishwashing party before. 4 hours later, my 2 plates are clean. Why 2? One was mine and one was OC Girl's. She got out of it because she's holding the camera. This is right there, and we're done. Now for thirsty, hey, let me show you where the water is over here. The water is right over here. And this is a very interesting Korean thing that they often do. This is where the water comes out of, but they've got this, which sterilizes the water cups. And so they've got these little metal water cups that are being sterilized by ultraviolet rays. And then you get water just right here from this little thing. And it's ice cold to quench your thirst. I used one other dish and now I have to wash it too. The life of a monk is hard. Back to the dishwash. Oh, actually this you can just put here. Clean ones, used ones. Fairly typical in Korea. So after breakfast and washing all those dishes, the monk who was hosting us for the temple stay brought us up to this other temple, which is up the hill from Beomeosa. This is a smaller temple. There's about 10 smaller temples that surround Beomeosa. And he says the first thing we should do when we visit another temple is go to the main hall, do our 3 bows, and then we can explore. So that's where we're headed now, but they never allow cameras inside the main hall. So, but you already saw me do 108 bows. I don't think you have to see me do any more. After this, we'll have tea time with the monk, and then 9 o'clock, we're all done. As the monk told us before, we can't go in the main door. We have to go in the side door. The main door is only for the head monk. So we put our shoes on the side and go inside. Actually, we figured out we could shoot from the outside, just not inside. So I'll see you at the main opening. Now that we've done our bows, we're ready to explore this temple. So this temple up on the hill, it started with this martial art right here. This martial art became so famous that actually it's moved on for this temple, and nobody practices martial art at this temple anymore because they moved that martial art to another one. Many people think of temples as having, you know, taekwondo or things like that. Not all temples here practice martial arts. And just up the hill, there are some really neat statues. Great place to take those Instagram pictures. So everybody, whenever I do hotel reviews, we always do a Topher review at the end. And Topher doesn't even know how to review this temple because he has no frame of reference. This is our first one. But I'll just go ahead and say what some of the pros and cons are and then tell you my final assessment. So the pros, I think this is a great way to get an appreciation for Korean culture that you would never see otherwise. I've never really understood the life of a monk, and I'm not sure I completely understand it now, but I understand more about what they do and the meditations and their life. And the monk who was hosting us, his English was very good, would answer all of our questions, and just really a down-to-earth kind of guy. The cons, if you're not used to sleeping on the floor, that might be a little difficult, particularly in a room with lots of people. The men's room was a pretty big room we were in. We had an equivalent number of women, and their room was a fourth or even less of the size as the main room. So they were in there pretty close together. The other con is you do have to do 108 bows. So if you're not physically fit, that might be a little challenging. You know, but part of living like a monk is you do have to do things like the monks. And so a couple other cons, you have to shower outside. The bathrooms are outside. The showers, there's no dividers between the showers, so that's just with the group in there. You don't have any choice of the food you eat. You're just eating the food that they serve you, and it's pretty much vegetarian at the times that they serve you. So if you're okay with all of that, that's part of the experience. Just know it coming into it. So now the real question is, would I stay here again? Well, just having spent one night here, I don't think I need to spend a second night here right now. I would like to go back to the land of meat and soft beds and air conditioning and my own hotel room, which we are going back there tonight. But would I stay here again having not stayed here before? Yes, actually, I think this was a very enlightening experience. Probably isn't the right word, because that's when you're a Buddha, you're enlightened. But my eyes are definitely open, and I'm glad I've done it once. If you're considering staying here, how do you book a room at a temple anyway? Well, actually, the temple has a website. I'll put a link in the description below, or you can visit the Korea Temple Stay Program website that'll tell you all about it. The rates at this particular temple for a 2-day experience, which starts at about 4 p.m. and then goes until mid-morning the next day, including overnight and meals, dinner and breakfast, is about $100 US. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of my South Korea travels, you can click one of these videos over here to watch them. You can click the vlog that we traveled from Seoul down to Busan, or here for all of our South Korea videos in one playlist. Well, I won't say goodbye, because I'll see you in one of these videos.